You are listening to Pharmacy IT and Me, your informatics pharmacist podcast. Hey everyone, this is Tony Dow, and today is Friday, May 31st, 2019, and welcome to another episode of Last Week in Health IT. As with every episode, we start off this one stating that the intent audience for this episode is everybody. So I'm going to try something a little different with today's episode and might be doing it from now on with future episodes of Last Week in Health IT. What I'm going to be doing is I'm going to be separating each news item with a short audio bite of the theme music for the podcast so that it's a little clearer on the separation. All right, let's get into this. So Norwalk Hospital launches a telestroke program. In Connecticut, Norwalk Hospital has launched a telestroke program where communication via different HIPAA-compliant equipment allow them to provide care for patients who suffer from stroke. Those who suffer a stroke may need to have treatment done as fast as possible to avoid suffering from severe consequences or even death. Having this telestroke program allows assessment by a neurologist quickly by having the ED staff connect the patient to the neurologist remotely. This looks to be a very promising use of technology in telemedicine that will hopefully achieve a great deal of patient care improvements in the future. Medication review technology using artificial intelligence shows technician review times cut in half and interactions decrease significantly. So in Rancho Cucamonga, which is about over an hour drive away from where I live in Orange County, California, the Inland Empire Health Plan introduced a novel approach in applying AI to medication review. So the Inland Empire Health Plan is the largest nonprofit Medi-Cal and Medicare plan in the Inland Empire here in California. They partnered with Previon, which is a specialty pharmacy focused on chronic disease management. And Previon uses an application called Surveyor Health. And this platform allows integration of AI algorithms to help identify patients with high medication risk. The tool allows for visualization, simulation, and AI prediction models of the data to provide actionable items for the clinical staff in terms of medication list reviews. And what they found was there was a 50% drop in drug-drug interactions, 50% drop in duplicate orders, and on average, about 2 medications per patient were discontinued upon the medication list review. Epic adds American Well telehealth app to Orchard. So American Well is a privately held telemedicine company based in Boston, Massachusetts that connects patients instantly with doctors over secure video. And Epic, or Epic Systems, they primarily develop, manufacture, and license and support a product they call Epic, which is the Epic EMR, their electronic medical record system. So American Well now is going to be integrated with Epic, and it allows providers and clinicians to perform video visits and virtual consults within the EMR. This is a big win in terms of getting telehealth into the common usage arena because it is now integrated into the workflow of the provider rather than having to launch a separate application for telehealth services. Report shows that health data security exposures doubled within 1 year. So Digital Shadows is a market leader in digital risk protection, and they identify unwanted exposure, protect against external threats, and they try to minimize digital risk. So that company, they recently released a report that looks into the state of health data security within the past year. What they found was that there has been about a 50% increase in the exposure of medical-related data over the past year. And in addition, from that, they found that a lot of the exposures had been related to DICOM and PACS files, which are the imaging files usually done by radiology or imaging. They noted that there were 4.4 million DICOM imaging files exposed versus 2.2 million from the year before, pretty much doubling the security exposure in the year prior. EHR vendors say ONC proposed rules are too broad and would stifle innovation. So you haven't heard, the ONC proposed new rules not too long ago regarding interoperability. The goal appeared to be able to update their definitions and rules to match the current state of interoperability in healthcare IT. However, it seems to be a little bit too broad for some. So one of the proposed rules recommended a 24-hour timeline for implementation of technologies to meet the vision that the ONC proposed. But the vendors voiced against this because these timelines are too short and may be affected by unforeseen circumstances that push implementations out even longer. And in addition, the proposed rules had ambiguous language in some parts, allowing too much room for interpretation, such as, things like as soon as possible or reasonable. One of the other aspects is that it enforces sharing of information, which vendors have argued it can slow down innovation or even stifle it. There would be less incentive for a company to think creatively if they just gather that information or tool from another vendor. Alright, so before we go, if you'd like to hear more news on healthcare IT, you can check out great curated articles at healthcareitnews.com. It's where I go for daily healthcare IT news to keep myself updated on what's going on in that world. And if you guys like this episode, you guys can subscribe and rate us on iTunes, Stitcher, Google Play, or any of your other favorite podcasting services. You can follow us on social media on Twitter or Facebook at PharmacyITme or Instagram at PharmacyInformatics. You can also send me an email at tony@pharmacyitme.com. And I wanted to plug a great networking opportunity called Pharmacist Connect. If you are familiar with Slack Workspaces, this is a Slack workspace that's vetted. And pharmacists or pharmacy interns or technicians, if you have a license, you will be approved to join. And I've actually met some great colleagues on it. And there's even different channels like an informatics channel as well. You can find out more by visiting pharmacistconnect.com, which is PharmacistConnect.com. Thank you again for listening, and I'll see you on the next episode of Pharmacy IT and Me. And remember, technology is a tool, patient care is the goal.